Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 1. The chapter which we are related with is cash book, and for the time being we are dividing this question into two parts. You can see that we have an answer over here, cash balance. Answer of cash balance is present. Today we will not solve it, we will just generalize. Please note it down. These are the transactions which are given. There will be two parts of the question. First, we will enter these transactions into journal, and then these journal entries would be entered in cash book. Cash book we will understand in next lecture. Right now we will engage ourselves only entering journal entries. So we have, you can see that transactions are given in this question, and we will convert these transactions into journal entries. From here you can see that we have performa for the journal where 1, 3 and 4 columns are drawn already. First column would be used for the date, then detail, and debit amount and credit amount. Now we have already understood in previous chapters there are three lines. First line is called debit, second line is called credit, and third line is called narration. At narration we will draw an ending line over here. As you can see, we have drawn an ending line. So this would be the way to enter a journal entry. The third line would be used for narration. Narration is what? Which is given in the question. Like first entry, date is not mentioned over here. Instead of date, numbering is given. So in date column, we will write A as it's the first entry. Now we will see in A entry what narration has been given. Cash in hand. So you will put cash in hand at narration part, and here you will close it down in brackets. In this way, whenever you will start your journal entry, you will put narration. It would be an easy way to journalize. It would be an easy way to enter your journal entry. What does that mean, cash in hand? It means you have some cash. Please note it down. Cash is not going out. Cash is not coming in. It is just cash in hand. There is no transaction, just cash in hand. So it's a good thing. It's a favorable thing. Cash is your asset. Asset should be debited. So you will write cash in asset side. And as you know, all entries at debit side are aligned on extreme left side. So you will write cash on left side. Now problem is, this is cash which is in your hand. Cash is not going out. Cash is not coming in. There is no double transaction. It is just in hand. So nothing to write in credit side. Instead, just to give the reference, we will say that it is our balance. So in this way, our first journal entry would be completed, cash to balance. Please you note it down. I am repeating, cash was not going out, cash was not coming in. It was just the cash which was in our hands. So that is why cash was a favorable thing. It was an asset. Asset was written on debit side, nothing to be written on credit side. So we have just given the reference as alright. So how would we put the amount? As you can see that in A entry, cash in hand is 50,000. So you don't have to calculate any amount. Just write down 50,000 on debit side, and same amount would be written on credit side. So guys, first entry has been completed. In the similar way, now we will see what second entry is saying to us. Let's read it out. Purchase goods for cash. Okay, so we will put narration first. So what we are going to do, purchased goods for cash. You can write same narration, or if you want to change, you can change. First, we will learn what is meaning of purchase good for cash. Buying goods, you are buying goods and paying cash. Purchase goods for cash. It means whenever you are buying anything, you will pay. It means your cash would be decreased. Cash is your asset. When asset decreases, we write on credit side. So on credit side, you will put cash. Okay, now you can ask question. In first entry, we have written debit side at first step. In second entry, we have written credit side as first step. That doesn't matter. If you will put your debit side first, okay. If you will put amount on credit side, it's okay. It's up to you. So let's come back to the entry. Purchase goods for cash. You have bought goods. Goods are coming in. Goods are your near asset. Asset are increasing. So you were supposed to write goods over here as goods are coming in. Now please note it down. You will never write goods in any accounting entry. I'm repeating, you will not write the word goods in any of the transaction, any of the entry in any chapter in accounting. So what we will write instead of goods, when you are buying goods, you are not allowed to write goods. Instead of goods, you will write working. Note it in your notebook. Instead of goods, you will write working. So what working we are doing over here? We are purchasing. So you will write purchase over here, and as usual, you will align it to the left side. All debit entries will be aligned at debit side. Here, if you want to delete, if you want to erase this word of goods, you can erase, or you can keep it for your memory. In this way, our entry has been completed, purchase to cash. Now we will see in B entry, amount was 4,000. So you will put 4,000 over here, and same amount 4,000 would be posted on credit side. And after writing narration, we would like to close it by putting an ending line. Alright guys, two entries are completed. Now we will see what C entry is saying, purchase typewriter. So you can write purchase typewriter. So guys, please understand, typewriters are usually for business assets. They are not bought for the resale purpose. So purchased typewriter, it means typewriter is coming in. Typewriter is your asset. Asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be written on debit side. So you will write typewriter on debit side, and as usual you will align it at left side. Okay, please note it down. You have bought your typewriter. Typewriter was coming in. Typewriter was your asset. Asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be debit. So you have written typewriter on debit. Whenever you will buy anything, you will have to pay. It means cash will decrease. Cash is your asset. Decrease in asset should be written on credit side. So you will write cash in credit side. As usual, after completion of entry, we will close it by putting an ending line. C entry, let's see how much was the amount, 6,000. So you will put 6,000 on debit side, and same amount you are supposed to put on credit side. Three entries are completed. Now we will see what D entry is saying. You can see here sold goods to Wasim and cash received. What is this trade discount? We will discuss it little after, but please understand, sold goods to Wasim and cash received. What does that mean? You have sold goods and received cash. So you can write it over here, sold goods and received cash. Alright, when you will sell your goods, you will receive cash. Cash is your asset. By receiving, asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be written on debit side. So you will write cash at debit side. As usual, we will align it on left side. When you will sell your goods, goods will go out. Goods are your near asset. Goods will be decreased. Decrease in asset should be written on credit side. So you were supposed to write goods over here. And as usual, what we have understood in previous entry, goods are not allowed to return in accounting. In place of goods, you write working. What working we are doing? We are selling goods over here. So instead of goods, you will write sales. And again, if you don't like this word goods over here, you can remove it. But if you want to write it for your memory, you may write it at the beginning. So entry what we have completed is cash to sale. When you are selling your goods and receiving cash, cash to sales. Now here question arises, what we have left is trade discount. Please note it down at your notebooks. Trade discount is also not allowed to be written. As I have told you, goods are not permitted to write in accounting. In the same way, trade discount is also not allowed to be written in your notebooks. So instead of writing, what you will do, note it down, total amount was 2400 and you have given 10% discount. First we will calculate 10%. At here, how would you calculate 10%? 2400 multiply by 10 and divided by 100. In this way, you will calculate your 10%. Now, on calculator, what you will write? 2400 multiply by 10 divided by 100. 240 we have calculated, and this is the discount. Now please note it down. Total amount was 2400 and you have a discount of 250. How much would be the final amount? Look, you were selling your product for 2400 but you had given 240 as discount. So amount which you will receive would be decreased. How? 2400 was the total amount and you have given 240 as discount. Please note it down. 2400 was the total amount and you have given 240 as discount. So amount would be 2160. So here 2160 would be written on debit side and same amount you will put on your credit side. Now here please take your time and you can pause this lecture over here and understand how we had calculated this amount. Again, I'm repeating, 2400 was the original amount, 10% was the discount, and we have calculated discount as 240. And 2400 was total amount of sales. So what you have done, 2400 was original amount, 240 discount given, and remaining amount 2160 you will post over here. Entry has been completed, and as usual, we will put an ending line after that. Next, we will see what e-entry is saying. Paid to Mr. Rehan. What we will pay? Cash. So you can write paid cash to Rehan. Alright guys, when you will pay, what will happen? Your cash will go out. Cash is your asset. Asset would be decreased. Decrease in asset should be written on credit side. So you will write cash on credit side. Now, when you are paying cash to Rehan, it means you were liable to pay to Rehan. You were liable to pay to Rehan. Rehan was your liability. After payment, your liability has been decreased. Decrease in liability should be written on debit side. So account payable Rehan. Rehan was the person who was account payable. When you have paid to Rehan, your liability has been decreased. I am sure that you are noting it down. Rehan was your liability. When you have paid to Rehan, your liability has been decreased. Decrease in liability should be written on debit side. So that is why account payable Rehan had been written on debit side. Let's check it out. How much amount has been paid to Rehan? 1500. So you will put 1500 on debit side and same 1500 would be written on credit side. Entry has been completed and we are shutting it down by putting an ending line. After E, We will see what F entry is saying to us. Cash sales. Okay, this is good entry. Cash sale mean you have sold goods and receive immediate cash. When you will receive cash, your asset would be increased. Increase in asset should be written on debit side. So you will write cash on debit side. And as usual, we will be aligning it on left side. When you have sold your goods and received cash, it means goods are going out. And you were supposed to write goods over here. As usual in accounting, we are not allowed to write goods over here. Instead of goods, we will write working. And what working we are doing? We are selling goods. So you will write sales over here. If you want to keep this goods in entry, you can, or if you want to delete it or erase it, you can erase. Now again, I'm repeating, cash sale means you have sold goods and received cash. Cash is increasing, asset is increasing, cash has been debited, goods are going out, and as you have seen, we were supposed to write goods, but instead of goods, we will write working. That is why we have written sales. In this way, our F entry is also been completed. You are supposed to write brackets in narration. Entry is completed. We will put an ending line. In this way, F entry has been completed. We will see what G entry is saying to us. Received from Ahmed. Now we will use our common sense. What we will receive? Cash. When you are receiving, it means you are receiving cash. Please understand. So cash received from Ahmed is our narration. Cash received from, I forgot the name. Cash received from Ahmed. So we have received cash from Ahmed. What does that mean? Cash is coming in. Cash is your asset. Asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be debited. So you have written cash on debit side. So here, just align it to debit side. You have received cash from Ahmed. Why you have received? Ahmed was liable to pay. It means Ahmed was your account receivable. Note it down again at your notebook. Ahmed was your account receivable. Account receivable means you were supposed to receive amount from Ahmed. So Ahmed was account receivable. It was a good news as it was a favorable balance. You have to receive amount from Ahmed. Ahmed was account receivable. It was your asset. But since you have received your cash, so Ahmed is no more your account receivable, no more your asset. Asset has been decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you will write your account receivable Ahmed at credit side. All right. So again, I'm repeating, you have received cash. So you will debit cash because cash is increasing. And from whom you are receiving this cash? Ahmed. Ahmed was account receivable. That means he was your asset. When you have received cash, it means no more amount is receivable. Asset has been decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you have written Ahmed at credit side. Amount of G was 2700. So you will put 2700 on debit side and same amount would be written on credit side. F entries amount was 1000. So you will write 1000 over here and same 1000 would be posted over here. In this way, our G entry has been completed. We will see H entry now. H entry is saying purchase stationery for cash. All right. So you will write over here stationery purchased. Okay, sometimes I am writing larger narration and sometimes I have written shorter narration. That would not make any difference. So you are open. You may write few words or you may write detailed narration. Please understand what does that mean? Stationery purchased. You have bought stationery. It means stationery is coming in. Stationery is your asset. Asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be debited. So you will write stationery at your debit side, and as usual we will align it at left side. Stationery, when you will buy anything you will have to pay, so you will pay. It means cash is going out. Cash is your asset. Asset is decreasing, that is why decrease in asset should be written on credit side. So you have posted cash on credit side. We will see amount of H entry is 1600. So you will post 1600 on debit side and same amount would be posted on credit side. H entry has been completed. We will now see I entry received from Zahir. Again, we will use a common sense. What we will receive? Cash. Cash received from Zahir is our next entry. Cash received from Zahir. Let's put bracket, and sometimes I forget to put brackets, but please note it down. Every narration will have bracket. Cash received from Zahir. We have already cash received from Ahmed. Same, cash is an asset. Asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be debited. So you have written cash on debit side. Now, why we have received cash from Zahir? Because Zahir was account receivable. From whom amount was receivable? Was, I'm using was. Amount was receivable from Zahir. Zahir was your asset. Since we have now received the amount, he is no more your asset. Asset is decreasing. Decrease in asset should be written on credit side. So that is why account receivable. But now we will change the name. Instead of Ahmed, this time we have received amount from Zahir. So our I entry has been completed. We will see how much amount of I is, and that is 4800. Let's put the amount 4800 on debit side and same amount would be written on credit side. Then we will see our J entry. Look, J is saying paid office rent. So you may write just rent, paid rent. When you will pay your rent, it means cash will go out. Cash is your asset. Asset is decreasing. Decrease in asset should be written on credit side. So you will put your cash on credit side. When you will pay rent, as you know that the payments which you will pay again and again and again, such payments are operating expenses. Expenses should be written on debit side. So you will write rent at your debit side and I am aligning it at left side. In this way our J entry has been completed and we will now see how much amount of rent was. Office rent was 1000. So you will write 1000 in debit side and same amount you will post on credit side. Then K entry would be seen. K is saying paid salaries. Alright guys, you will write paid salaries. This is your narration. And paid salaries mean you have paid amount as salaries. When you will pay, it means cash will go out. When cash is going out, your asset is decreasing. Decrease in asset should be written on credit side, so you will put cash on credit side. Since salaries, payment of salary is a kind of payment which you will be paying again and again after each and every month. You will have to pay salary, so it's an expense. Expense should be written on debit side, so you will write salaries. You will enter salaries on debit side, aligning at left side. Now we will say amount of K is 1500. So you will put 1500 on debit side and same amount you will be writing on credit side. In this way, our last entry has been completed. It was entry number K, ending it. Alright, since we need a little more space, so let's put the lines, and you will see that it was supposed to be neglected, but please note it down. Don't even think to neglect anything which is your performer. So you are supposed to complete your performer accordingly. It may take a little time, but don't forget it to write down. So I will complete it. In this way, this line has been completed. Let me uh, arrange these lines accordingly. So guys, in this way our journal entries has been completed. You are very open to ask your question in comments, or you can message, you can text, or even you can meet directly to put your question. But request is very obvious. You are supposed to write these journal entries as many times as you want. Please practice it for 2-3 times. If you have any trouble in understanding any entry, you are very open to ask question as well. So guys, look at this. We have completed our from entries from A to K. I'm very sure you have understood everything. That was our part A, and I have told you this answer 45,060. This would be solved in our next lecture. For the time being, it's been ended. If you have any query, I have told you several times, you are very open to ask. It's time to end this lecture. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.